Oh, good to see you. Good to see you. It's Friday. We made it. We made it. For some reason, our streaming software seems to keep dumping. Even though I came in earlier this morning and checked it was all fine for whatever reason. We're having a few problems. We're going to have to edit out the first few minutes of this show, but hey, no problem. Glad you're here, folks. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Lots to talk about today. Lots of things happening. Let's just dig right into it. Good morning, everybody. We are enjoying some new technology. The new cameras here. I have to still a few bugs to work out. Still what's going on. Camera's fighting with me, trying to. I'm gonna have to go to an take it out of manual auto mode and manual and play with it. But I'm actually excited. We've been doing upgrades. Look at the nice bokeh in the background with the blurred background. Everything's how clear my face is. Incredible camera. We did great. We did great, folks. Look at how fast that autofocus works. Boom. Quite an upgrade. Quite an upgrade. But you can see that it's trying to decide how right it wants everything, but we'll get it all figured out. We'll get it all figured out. So much to talk about today. So much to talk about today. I'm telling you, we'll start with some good news. Let's start with some good news. Pope Leo steps up. I knew I was going to like this guy. And I know you're going to be saying, Paul, wait a minute. You're always telling everybody you're not a Christian. You're not. I'm not. That's not who I am. But hey, I was raised in a Catholic household. It is what it is. And so I pay attention to what's going on in the Catholic Church, and there are some good things going on in the Catholic Church. I am telling you right now, this just happened. Cardinal Dolan is out. And if you follow politics and religion, I mean, Catholicism is one of the largest religions on the planet, period. So it matters. It matters what they're doing. It matters what's going on. You've really got to pay attention. This is actually a huge move that sets the tone for what Pope Leo's papacy is going to be like. This is a return to the teachings of Christ, man. It really is. Jeremy Breeden, thank you for being here, brother. Have a wonderful holiday season, potheads. Don't let your drunk MAGA uncle ruin the experience. I hear you, brother. I do. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you always here. But yeah, this is good news. Archbishop Ronald Hicks is traditionally what you think of when you think of what a pastor or a preacher should be. He is not one of these Christian nationalists like we saw out of Cardinal Dolan. He's not one that jumps in and makes decision. Whichever way the political winds are blowing is the way he is tending to his flock, preaching to his flock about the word of Christ. No, he's pretty traditional guy. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, this is actually just huge. Skeet Sayre, thank you for being here, brother. Congrats, Texas Paul. You look normal close up compared to those Vanity Fair pics. The backlash is getting popcorn level. Yeah, it is. I am telling you. Hold on, folks. Stick with me. I know it's crazy, but we got to make a quick adjustment here. A little bit low. See if we can do a little bit better. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Sorry about that. I'm going to need to raise the camera up after the show just a little bit. I had everything set, and then for some reason, whenever I reinitiated the streaming software, it just went nuts. It just absolutely went nuts. Pulled my background off and everything. But anyways, I'm going to stop whining. Do my job. Do my job. Anyways, if you don't know who Cardinal Dolan is, this is Cardinal Dolan. Timothy Dolan, Cardinal Timothy Dolan. He is awful. I don't know any other way to put it. I really don't know any other way to put it. He is awful. Just awful. Every political notion that the right wing has gone down, from abortion to, he is broken with church norms, church doctrine. He has absolutely married the Catholic Church and the Republican Party. He had, and he was the Archbishop of New York. He was the most powerful bishop in the country. Pardon me, cardinal in the country. He set the tone for the just everything that came out of the United States came down his track, and it was horrible. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, this guy literally turned his back on the teachings of Christ, and that's a harsh thing to say about a cardinal. It really is. It really is. Just my personal opinion as somebody that was raised in a Catholic household, this guy was the worst thing to happen to the Catholic Church since the pedophile scandal. Really. I mean, he just, I can't overstress to you how on every issue that came up, he towed the Republican Party line. And it wasn't he was leading Republicans. No, Republicans were leading him. This is a sea change. This is Pope Leo announcing to the world, we're done with this. We're not doing this anymore. And you're going to see a lot more changes here in the U.S. Regarding the Catholic Church and its leadership, because I'm telling you, way too many of the archdioceses were led by way too many bishops that did exactly what Timothy Dolan did, and just pandered to this right wing. And they did it for money. They did it for money. They did. They just tried to suck up donations. Was what I have to tell you, I am truly impressed by what this Pope has done here. I mean, this is a great thing. This is a wonderful thing. It really is, folks. Because like I say, although I have, I'm not a Christian. I don't follow any of the Abrahamic religions. I don't follow any of that. I've talked about that many times before. I'm a believer in science. I have no problem with a real Christian. And it looks like Archbishop Hicks is the real deal. It looks like, I'll be honest with you. I didn't follow the archdiocese in Chicago where he came from. I didn't. So I can't speak in depth about the man, but I can tell you everything. As soon as this was made, I said, okay, I got to find out who Ronald Hicks is. I mean, this is going to be the man. And everything I read is what your conception is of what a Christian should be is what he preaches. There's no hate, there's no hate preaching, no political preaching. No, it's just, hey, look, Jesus said to feed the poor. Jesus said to welcome the immigrants. Jesus said, gotta love it. You just gotta love it. You gotta love it. There's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter that I'm not so much getting into about, Cardinal Dolan was Opus Dei, and this means Pope Leo's cracking down on Opus Dei. Folks, Opus Dei, what you hear about Opus Dei, the average person that's out there running their mouth on social media about Opus Dei, they're the only thing they know about Opus Dei is what they saw in movies. Rock and Ron, aka Ron Slater, thanks for being here. So yeah, this is just ignore that nonsense and just enjoy the fact that we now have somebody that's going to be leading the Catholic Church here in America. That is, and technically, is the Archdiocese of New York the seat of the head of the Catholic Church of America? No, there is no quote head of the Catholic Church of America, but power lies where it lies, and it just is what it is. So, moving on. Oh man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I really do. Well, Jim, oh my God, this is just great. Little Jimmy Jordan. You remember when you would see all of the those hearings during the Biden administration? The Republicans couldn't hate to hold hearings, man. You'd see him on the news every day. Little Jimmy Jordan with no jacket on, his sleeves rolled up. Just they just couldn't wait to hold these hearings, man. All the time, you just saw one right after the other, after the other, and little Jimmy Jordan thought, "Oh well, we'll do this again. We'll keep this going. This served us well. This made it happen." One second. I need to pause for a second. This is bothering me and it's throwing me off. I got to fix it. There. See if we can get it. See if that isn't any better. Get rid of those shadows. Thank you. Sorry about that. I need to get my shit wired straight. I do apologize. We'll get it fixed from going forward. William G. Atheist, putting these guys in skirts and in small dark rooms with children was a bad idea to begin with. Having a church, I'm going to put a pin on. We're going to go back to talking about Jim Jordan in a second, but yeah, just you're going to take and have a religion where you're going to tell people that the people that run your religion can't get married. This is one of the reasons I don't follow any of that. And I mean, it was one of the first wake up calls for me. What you're talking about right there. What do you mean priests can't get married? I mean, companionship, intimacy. I don't know if you know this, but you need intimacy. You need it like you need air. You need it like you need food. It's programmed into your mind. You're programmed with very, very basic things: safety, food, shelter, and intimacy. You're hardwired for those things. And you're going to run a religion and you're going to tell these people, no intimacy for you. You can't have a wife. You can't have, and if you're gay, you can't have a husband. If you can't, what could possibly go wrong? By denying your basic humanity, what could possibly go wrong? You might as well tell these people that they have to starve. It's just stupid. It's just, anyways, I'm going to get into trouble. I can already hear the emails coming in from our Catholic audience. I was raised Catholic. My father was the kind of person that he could quote scripture to you. Very much a believer in the church. My mother was Irish, full-blooded Irish Catholic. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not hate of the church. It's not, it's just, it's who I am. It's why I've gone the way I have with religion. I've got to accept science and people the way they are. Mr. Will, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. All right. Let's dig into it. But yeah, Jimmy Jordan is the dog that caught the bumper. He thought that he was going to sit and have a wonderful hearing, and he was going to call in Jack Smith, and he was going to just run all of the bullshit talking points, and MAGA was going to eat it up, and then everything went south. Why? Trump's poll numbers went south. Trump happened. Trump happened. The economy happened. All the stupid things that Trump did. When you don't have momentum and your people aren't excited, you can't do this. When they were out of power and they wanted to hold these hearings, when they didn't have the White House, they weren't responsible for what was going on. They could sit there and criticize the president. They could all day long, and their people would just eat it up. Well, sorry guys, you're running the show. You run the legislature, you run the administration, you've got control of the Supreme Court. It does not play. Narrative matters. I say it over and over again. Narrative matters. You can't sit there and say the kinds of things that they like to say in hearings about, oh, well, this administration is this and this administration. Who is going to be your boogeyman? Who's going to be your bad guy? Who's going to be the person in the room that's not in the room that you can attack and try to lay this at the feet of, that can't respond so you can just throw shit out there? Oh no, they royally screwed up. Pamela, thanks for the support. I'm truly grateful. Truly grateful. They royally screwed up. And I'll tell you, they know it. They know they did, because this went from Republicans ballyhooing about, ooh, we subpoenaed Jack Smith. We're gonna just gonna show him to be a fraud, and we're gonna all of the nonsense. Back when they had the momentum, right at the election, they did this right after the election. They subpoenaed Jack Smith. Were moving to do this. It was an entirely different political environment. They really thought they had momentum at their back. And then they caught the bumper. They had to govern. And people aren't digging it. From immigration to people see through these attacks on the boats in Venezuela. The economy has gone, that was recovering has gone south. It's one thing after another. They don't have any momentum anymore. They're losing elections. So no, they didn't want to get into a pissing contest, and boy, howdy did they. Jack Smith sat there for 8 hours under oath, never took the fifth once, didn't withhold any information. And oh Lord, there is no way they're going to acquiesce. Jack Smith's attorneys have asked for a follow-up hearing, a public hearing, and all Republicans and Jim Jordan are no, we're not doing that. After listening to everything you have to say, no, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. We're not going to have public hearings. Not going to happen. Sorry. We just can't have that happen. Jack Smith sat there and he just in no uncertain terms said, I absolutely could have convicted Trump. I have the evidence, and here it is, and laid it out. That's the part that's not being released so far. Robin DeHood, wishing you a Zen holiday season from Lincoln Me. I'm glad from Lincoln Me. Glad to hear, Robin. Thank you, and say hi to Link for me. But yeah, the key takeaways from that article are this. Jack Smith said Trump also repeatedly tried to obstruct justice, tried to keep his retention of classified documents found during an FBI search of his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Smith told members of the House Judiciary Committee at a closed-door deposition. Smith said his team turned up, quote, powerful evidence that showed Trump willfully retained highly classified documents after he left office in January 2021, storing them in his social club, including a bathroom and ballroom where events were gathering and took place. This is all stuff that that you've heard before. But absolutely, it is not the story the Republicans wanted coming out of this hearing. They wanted to somehow have their bullshit made up accusations be what was taken. And it's not. It's just not. Jack Smith sitting under oath saying, here's my evidence. Here's what we've got to, here's what I've got for you. 100% blew up in their faces. Jack Smith said, yeah, I investigated him. I indicted him. 100%. We're doing this. We're doing this. I would do it again today. Was not the story they wanted coming out of this. And it just goes to show you again where the momentum has gone, what has, what we're looking at politically, how the political landscapes and winds have changed, because the corporate media to date would have absolutely acquiesced to this. They would have 100% acquiesced to this, to what the Republicans wanted to do. They would have been printing this, Congressman dumbass said this. And it would have been completely fictional, completely made up bullshit. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. They didn't do what they did all the way through the Hunter Biden hearings. And I got to tell you, folks, you ever have that one of those moments where things are just going so calm and so good that you're worried? You're waiting for that shoe to drop. You're waiting for that problem to happen. You're waiting for the bad news to hit. Something's got to happen. Things are just I'm telling you, things are going so smoothly. The momentum is going the right way. Things are going so well, and we're heading in the right direction. Things have been, they rolled out the Gaza bots. And that didn't do anything. They've the click farms went active. They trotted Trump out, got him high as a freaking kite, and that blew up in their faces. I mean, I don't know about you, but I took one look at Trump, and my personal opinion on this, that dude was high as a freaking kite. They preempted the season finale of one of the most anticipated, pardon me, tongue tied here, one of the most anticipated episodes of Survivor. Trump stands up for 18 minutes and just dribbles on and on and on and on and on. 18 minutes of nothing, the same old shit. Folks, networks don't do that. I don't know if you know this, but networks don't do that. To preempt a show, they're scheduling like that, there has to be an event. Something has to have happened. There has to be an announcement. That's why all the talking heads went to social media and they were like, oh, we're going to invade Venezuela, which turned out to not be true. That was not what he announced. Trump just went on national television and just for 18 minutes spewed the same old stupid shit. And it blew up in their faces because everybody's like, that guy is high. And it was to counter the fact that he's dying right in front of us. It's to counter the medical news. It was try to tamp that down. Let's get him super freaking high and have him talk in front of the camera, and we'll say, "Ooh, see, he's there." But he was so freaking gone. I mean, it was painful to watch, and hilariously, nobody watched it. The ratings on it were in the toilet. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm grateful. Thank you. Yeah, man, I tell you what, that is the definition mixed emotions right there. Yep, that is definitely the definition of mixed emotions right there. Do you want Trump around? No, nobody does. We're sick of his shit. But good Lord, he is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, he politically, I I have to laugh. They just had another event in the White House, where Sheldon Adelson's widow, uh, made a big spectacle of said, "Please run again in 2028. I'll pay for it," and just on and on and on. And I don't know a single Democrat that isn't saying, "Yes, please. Yeah, do that. Do that. Make all 2027 about Donald Trump leading up into the election. Make all of 2028 about Donald Trump. All the way through November of 2028 about him, how he doesn't give a shit about the Constitution, how arrogant he is, how he wants to be a king. Make it all about that. Let's absolutely make this a referendum on Donald Trump. I'm cool with that. That reprobate old bastard. I would love to see Donald Trump try to get through a debate. I mean, just please, please, yes. Every time they keep saying this, they think it's like a gotcha. It's like it's an entire government about trying to own the libs, and they think it's a gotcha. Oh, Trump 2028. I don't know any Democrat that political strategist or politician that doesn't say, "Oh yeah, please run that old bastard again. Pretty please do it." Meanwhile, JD Vance is like, "Oh, well, what about me, man? What about me?" But yeah, it's just one thing after another after another. And folks, I've just got to tell you, and I want you to be patient with me. There's nothing I can do about it. It's distracting as hell for me. The lighting changes. This is not something that happened yesterday. It's the backlighting that's freaking the camera out, and I will deal with this. And I do apologize. It's really throwing me off my game here, but we'll get it fixed out. We'll get it figured out. This new camera, and we're working it out. We're working it out. I will get that image stabilized. But yeah, I mean, you got things like this. Dan Bongino, this does not help. Bongino resigned. He's out. He told everybody didn't just tell everybody. He cleaned out his office. Not going back to work. He's at home. He goes and shows up on Fox and Friends and whines and whines and whines. It was hilarious. Do you want to know the reason he gave for his resignation? I mean, you're talking about a friendly interview. You're talking about, you talk about a friendly interview. You're talking about, this is where you rehabilitate your image. This is where you get pumped up. This is where they make you look good. He sat there and told the American people and the folks on Fox, and they couldn't wait to get out of that segment, by the way. It was this. It was a job. That poor baby had to sit in an office and do a job. And I'm not kidding. He literally said that. I'm quitting because I've got to be away from my wife. I gave up everything. My right-wing podcasting career, I had to give up to take this job as deputy FBI director. Just gives you some idea what the Trump regime has done to the FBI. Literally whined that he had to be in the office. It's a job. I mean, it's a job. I mean, like a real job where you're supposed to be doing shit. This is who these people are. I mean, literally went on the news and said, I miss my wife. I don't get to see my wife. I can't sit at home. I miss what? Really, dude? I think pretty much everybody that works at the FBI misses their spouses while they're at work. Well, maybe not everybody, but you know what I mean. Dave Barone, I was I was paid to lie. It it's just it's pathetic watching this administration just fall apart. It's just pathetic watching them fall apart. And I tell you, the bots are out there trying desperately to save them, and it's just not working. You've got the like this is the thing that you're seeing all over social media. They're trying to rewrite the narrative of inflation. Woo, Trump fixed inflation. That's the new narrative coming out of the bots all over social media. Well, here's the problem. You've got people with actual brains. By the way, this is a good follow for you on Threads, by the way. This is Brett Steven. Great source of data information. So he took their own graphic and he broke it up so you could see it by year. Yeah, take a look at the inflation climbing. Where was the trend set? It was Trump's failure during COVID. Complete supply chain interruption. What happens when Biden takes office? From when Biden takes office, they get the economy open back up, and they immediately go to work on inflation. I don't even know what to add to this. I don't even know what to add to this. I mean, they're flailing. I mean, it's like they're punching themselves in the face, and I just have to stand here and watch. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to being in the fray. I'm used to duking it out. I'm used to fighting narratives. And it's like, okay. Okay. I honestly, I don't know what to do. What do I do? It's like that joke. What do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do. Oh, Mr. Dude said, man, this working is real hard. They demand I work. I can't be asked to work for my pay. Don't I have people for that? I'm going home. Bye. Exactly. He sat on Fox and Friends and he was very upset about that. And they were like, oh, you did a great job. You did it. Thank you for your service. Great job. Oh, it was hard. Your job was hard. Oh, okay. I was watching that, literally screaming at the screen. FBI director is a 24/7 job. You do that job in your sleep, man. And you're the deputy director of the FBI. This is who they are. We are not the same. We are not the same. But yeah, going back to inflation for a second. You notice on that graph, they cut off the last part of it. This is what's going on with inflation. After years of it trending downward, here we go again, folks. Here we go again. And you know it. This is the part that just makes me laugh. Every time they talk about, well, gas is cheap. Gas is cheap. It's like you keep saying it's like under $2 a gallon. It's like, we buy gas, right? We bought gas last year, right? We know in the wintertime, the more expensive summer blends go away and the cheaper winter blends come in, and gas prices drop this time of year. That's what happens. I don't know. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. It's throwing me off my game. It is really throwing me off my game. I mean, it's like being in the ring with somebody and they won't put their hands up, and it's like every time they do put their hands up, they're like poof, punching themselves in the face. Okay, you want to try to go to your people and tell them there's no inflation. Do that. Yeah, go ahead. What do you think's going to happen the next time they go to the grocery store? They don't know what to do when they're not in the opposition and they're not screaming, "Oh, Joe Biden and the Democrats." They've got no clue what to do. ET says your new camera is detecting the rise and fall of light from the clouds moving over. Yeah, I know. There's a way to set it manually where it will never adjust. And I've got the backlighting back there. It's just you can't compete with the natural light. And I should have set it to manual, but I was so eager to get it up and running. I finally got the cables and stuff for it last night. I was so eager to get it up and running. I've been staring at it on the desk for 2 days without the power cable and the HDMI cable to run it. That I slapped it together last night, and anyways, Sunday show will be much more stable. I promise you. Clarence WD, if he dies in office, it will be a large state funeral. If he doesn't, we can stick him in that golf course. Oh my God. I just, when he finally goes, if he goes in the next 3 years, oh my God, the parties, the street parties. Whoo. Can you imagine what like Bourbon Street is going to be like? Can you imagine? I mean, the parties they're gonna have in DC around the White House, it's just insane. Yeah, they're trying to reinvent the wheel, but, we lived through it all. We did. We lived through it all. We know that, and this is, again, not anything negative to our European audience or Asian audience or anyone else around the world, but, when it came to recovery, we here in the United States were blessed. The Biden administration did well. The US economy was leading the world. And that's what Trump got handed and immediately drove us into a ditch. Immediately. And I don't know about you, I'm kind of, I don't know if I should save this for last or what, but I just really, this kind of thing, when that is what's going on, when we're seeing that, the inflation, all the problems that we're seeing around the world, the problems we're seeing with NATO withdrawing from us, people are actually seeing our allies withdrawing from us, not sharing intelligence with us anymore. We're losing our stature around the world. Um, you know, Things like this just don't seem, they don't fly. This is nothing to celebrate. Trump's trying to, build the stupid ballroom, which now is, we may just have a half demolished White House sitting there. We may just have just one thing after another. And then he goes and wants to rename the Kennedy Center, which is an American institution that people, we have emotional ties to these things. When you see the Kennedy Center, you're like, yeah, that's an American institution. And for him to just try to slap his name on it, especially at times like this when it's, I mean, outside of even, his core MAGA, people hate this guy. I mean, this is just a slap in the face. And everybody knows it and everybody feels it. And I want to say kudos to Jim Wright over at Stone Kettle. If you don't know who Jim Wright is, one second. You need to go over and follow him on Threads. He's a photographer. Started out in politics, kind of doing what I'm doing. had a blog set up, website, mainly on Threads right now. But I will tell you, some of the photography stuff's beautiful, by the way. I mean, it is just beautiful. But again, you remember when Hal Sparks dubbed the ballroom the Epstein ballroom? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just brilliant. Just brilliant. That is going to have hang time. It will forever be known as the Epstein ballroom. Well, kudos to Jim Wright. Kudos to Jim Wright. He grabbed a hold of this. We're going to rename the Kennedy Center bullshit and said, okay, we're renaming shit. They're now the Trump-Epstein files. And forever and ever from now on, when you see me reference the Epstein files, I will be referencing it as the Trump-Epstein files. I mean, brilliant timing. This is the kind of thing that just all over, you're seeing people just absolutely take this stuff that are supposed to be, supposed to be owning the libs. I'm renaming the Kennedy Center, this, that, and oh yeah, well, bam. They're now the Trump-Epstein files. If we're just renaming shit, we're just renaming shit. It is what it is. Dirk Owl, thank you for being here. We need tons of those I did this stickers of Trump pointing at prices in grocery stores all over the country. They did it on gas pumps, so let's give them the taste of their own medicine. Yep. I'm with you on that one, man. I am with you on that one. But that's not the big story of the day. And before we get to the big story of the day, I want to do a correction. I told you I would eat it. You know what? Before we do that, forgive me. I know I'm just bouncing around like a damn ping pong ball today, but I want to play something for you. And I'm trying to find out who this is. If you know who this is, somebody email me with his name, because I want to start following this guy. This was great. There are young people out there that are intelligent, that know what the hell they're talking about. They do the research on it. And this is why the whole corporate media narrative bullshit, controlling the narrative bullshit, just isn't flying. It just isn't flying anymore. I want you to watch this. I was so impressed with this guy. I mean, look what he put. Let me just shut up and let him do it.
The Republican president, George Bush, gets elected and gets handed an economy from Bill Clinton that's booming. The GDP is at 4%, just created 22 million jobs. The unemployment rate is at a 33-year low. America says, yeah, thanks, Democrats. We got it from here. Hands it to George Bush. He leaves in a recession. Obama gets handed an economy that's losing 700,000 jobs a month, fixes it up, makes 16 million jobs, cuts the unemployment rate from 8% to 4.8%. America says, yeah, thanks for pulling us out of recession, Obama. Thanks for pulling out of recession, Democrats. We've got it from here. Hands it back to the Republicans. Hands Donald Trump an economy that is on the largest economic expansion in the history of America, 128 consecutive months. Trump leaves it in a recession again. Actually, 10 of the last 11 recessions have all been under Republican presidents. How long do we expect Democratic politics to clean up your mess? Democratic politics killed cigarette usage indoors. Republicans fought tooth and nail against it. Democratic politics created Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Democratic politics created the 40-hour work week, the minimum wage, the VA, the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act. Republican politics were on the opposing end of every single one of those things. Aren't we so lucky that they happened to lose? But how much longer does America continue to expect to get saved from the Republican politics it keeps voting for by the Democratic politics that it keeps voting away?
Amen. Amen. This is why you are not going to see the corporate media be able to control this. They're not going to be able to dirt these midterms and this next presidential election. They've lost control. They have. This is the kind of thing. This video went mega viral. That means young people on WhatsApp, on TikTok, on Instagram, this video has millions of views. You can't compete with that with some old guy talking bullshit, screaming at you that the economy is great and inflation's under control when you can look at your grocery bill and what's happening in this country. I am telling you, I see stuff like that, and it just, I just know we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. This is our next generation. All right. We've got this. David Cantu, a good economy is what Republicans usually get handed to them, and then they fuck it all up. Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you. You know, I just, I got to tell you, I really got to tell you, I am absolutely, and I don't know the right word for it. I don't know the right word for it. I'm watching this stuff happen. I'm watching this collapse, and I know it was painful. I mean, it was. That last election was heartbreaking. It was. And watching them do all the things that they've been doing to our country and trying to do, but seeing our institutions hold and seeing, people be smart about their protests, but yet protest they did. The No King's Day protests, people standing up, against ICE, controlling the narratives, keeping things moving. I got to tell you, I've got this feeling like, and I don't even know the right word for it. I don't even know the right word for it. I don't. It's not, because it's ugly. All this stuff is ugly. So it's not like happiness. It's not happiness. But it's like, wow. It just feels like people have woken up. That I guess we needed this slap of the. There you go. It's hope. It's hope. FCAT. Amen. It's hope. And I just, and especially, and I have to laugh because people do this. People do the same thing over and over and over again. You see these old timers, they'll try to make videos about the young generation and, eat Tide Pods and all the stupid shit. That's not what I see. I see that guy. I see guys like Aaron Parnes. I see guys, I see these young folks are coming out and I'm like, wow, my grandkids are going to be okay. And and again, it's just filling me with cautious optimism, I guess is what we'll say. And I hope that you're seeing these things and you yourself are feeling it. That you and before we get into our main story that I want to talk about today, which is the latest dump and where you can go to find them, the Epstein photos. I do want to make a correction. I told you I would eat my words from the last show. I saw the video and the images of the guy walking around outside Brown, and I said that looks like a white supremacist to me. Just the dumpy. That looks like every white supremacist I've ever seen walking around. Just that weak, tubby, stupid looking, awkward. I don't know. I just got that feeling, but it was my own bias affecting it. And I told you if that wasn't what it was, I would sit here, I would look you in the eye on the camera, and I would eat those words. And I am eating those words right now because that's absolutely not what it was. They found out that the murder of the MIT professor, um, okay, the murder of the MIT professor, uh, and the Brown shootings were absolutely linked. It was the same guy, Claudio Neves Valente is his name. Immigrant from Portugal, um, was a student at Brown. He spent a lot of time in the Barris Holly building, where the shooting took place. Um, he was there on a trying to pursue a doctorate, failed, ended up leaving. Went in late 2020, 2021. ended up leaving in 2023. He went to school with the MIT professor that was also murdered around the same time. They were schoolmates. It appears to be some sort of personal insanity. And so, yeah, I mean, I, that's why I very carefully framed it the way I did, that there's nothing pointing to that. There was no news. There was no journalism or anything that would support it. That guy just looked like a white supremacist to me. I was dead wrong on that. It turns out that this Claudio Valente was just some freaking insane nutter, and we don't even know why at this point. We don't even know what the motive was. I mean, it was just was he was failing, and his friend was a super successful professor over at MIT, and he just I don't know. I don't know. We don't know, and I'm not going to speculate again because I got it so wrong the first time around. But yeah, I mean, credibility is important. I mean, you do what you got to do. That was Claudio Valente, interestingly enough. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm fucking up by the numbers today. This camera blinking and out has me so off my game. I do apologize. This whole show's gonna suck ass. It really is. I am so pissed off about this right now. You have no idea how mad at myself I am right now, and I need to just get over it. Um, I'm sitting here looking at the screen, and I just keep going dark and light, dark and light, dark and light, dark and light. It is so off-putting, and I do apologize. Sunday's show will be spectacular. I promise you. I promise you, it will be. Um, but yeah, that was Claudio Valente, and this was his schoolmate. Also, you know, you're going to get the white supremacists, and the Republicans are Trump's already canceled the visa program where these two men came into the country. Now they're saying they don't want immigrants from Portugal, and this was the victim. This was the MIT professor that he killed, who was contributing immensely to our country. But yeah, this is Nuno Loureiro. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He came into the same country, came to the country the same exact way as this freaking insane person did. He's contributing to our country. We cannot, because one person, one small fraction, one nutter does something. We can't condemn. We can't shut ourselves off from the world. We can't do it. And yet that's exactly what right-wingers want to do. That's their reaction to all of this. It isn't because we had immigrants here. I mean, look at his victim. Look at the contributions Professor Loureiro was making. Same program. Just because someone loses their damn mind or whatever his motivation is, we cannot be stupid. We can't lock the door. We can't be dumb about this. LJ Jones, thank you. I appreciate it. And Republicans, thanks for supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. I really am. Republicans, they know this, because if you start talking about guns, what do they say? Oh, wait a minute. You can't condemn all gun owners. You can't. So they understand it. They know it's their bigotry. They know it's their bigotry. But yeah, we've had some other news happen, and this is something that's just, we're going to get the Epstein dump today. Todd Blanche has said we are going to get the Epstein, a large dump, not all of it. You can tell by the way they're saying it. We are going to get a large dump, not all of it, but it should be interesting. It should be interesting. And I got to tell you right now, I have to kind of laugh. You got to be careful about people that claim to be your friend, people that tell you they're your friends. Like the Epstein estate has been dumping photos, and you just see it all over social media. People are like, "Yay, the Epstein estate is apparently they want all this information out." Be very careful about who you think is your friend. They are not your friend. Agent Cajun John, I use Gas Buddy app to find the best gas prices. The gas may not be the best though. You know, we use Gas Buddy all the time. Actually used to, until we found a couple stations that had consistent low prices. But you're right. It'll tell you what's going on. You don't have to listen to some idiot right winger on social media telling you gas is $1.50 a gallon. When you're driving by the gas station, it's like, oh, that's $3.15 a gallon. Jojo in New Mexico, thanks for supporting the show. Thank you, Vincent Day. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you always being here to support the show. I wish we had a Costco. I do. We end up buying gas at Sam's Club more often than not. Some of the cheapest. It's not always the cheapest, but it's always in the mix as far as low gas prices. Veggie Owl Girl, this is just a trial run to get the bugs out. Yeah, amen. And I am sorry about this. I know it's frustrating watching that damn, and it's one setting. It's one stupid setting. Oh, just driving me up the wall. Driving me up the wall. Maureen McKinney, but it's going to look good. I mean, you got to admit that camera it shows everything, doesn't it? I mean, it shows everything. And I love the bokeh, how it blurs out the background. I did a lot of research, folks. I didn't believe me. I'm telling you, when y'all support the show, I put the money back into the show, or I put it into a rainy day fund to pay for websites and the projects that we do. I don't waste a nickel. Maureen McKenna, thanks for being here. And I did a ton of research. This is a great camera, by the way. It really is. Sony, it's a great camera. I just need to get that under control. And I tell you what blows my mind. Watch this. Watch this. Boom. That is badass how fast it just, and it knows it's got an AI chip in it, that program in it. It knows it's supposed to follow my face. So if I slide backwards, slide forward, it's immediately going to follow my face. It is cool as shit, man. It really is. As soon as I get this lighting whipped, and I will by Sunday, I promise you, it's going to be good. Jim Maya, thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. But yeah, this happened. These dumps happen. And I got to tell you, I am so excited about this. And I get it. I know why the Republicans thought that they were going to say this is going to be a win for us, that this was going to be a bunch of liberals and Democrats are going to be in trouble, because we think that Bill Gates is one of us. They think that these people are one of us. And I got to tell you, Bill Gates looks horrible in this. And before we get too far into this, let me show you where you can find this stuff. There's a link down in the description to this. There's 2 links down in the description, actually, to allow you to go back and take a look at this last photo dump. This is a statement by Robert Garcia. Y'all remember Robert Garcia was on the show, was so gracious to share his time with us. He is the ranking member on the House Oversight Committee. He's going to be a fantastic leader when we take Congress back. Oh man, having Robert Garcia there is going to be priceless. Having Robert Garcia in oversight is going to be absolutely priceless. But if you click this link, you can read his letter. And there's a link right here in the first paragraph at the bottom. And that link takes you here. That link takes you here to this website. And I have a link for this website. If you just want to go directly there and you don't feel like reading that, you can. But this is something else. It is House Oversight, House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform's Dropbox, and they have got all the photos for you. You can download them. You can do whatever you want. All of these photos are available for you to go through, and they're going to continue to do it. You're going to have access to this information, which is just freaking just fantastic. And I am super excited by this. And kudos to the Democrats for doing it the way they're doing it. They are not, it's not a nobody can accuse them of being partisan. Nobody can accuse them. It's just putting the information out there for you, for me. And I got to tell you, some of it is just heartbreaking. Like right here, there are people all over the left that saw this picture and they were like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And just to flex a little bit to show exactly how intelligent our audience is, who's the guy on the left? I've got the link in the YouTube description. You can go back and just it will be there in perpetuity. It's a link about that long, but it's in the YouTube description. Chandra Patton, thank you for being here. I love you too. I'm glad you're always here. Thank you. Yep, Noam Chomsky. I knew y'all would know. I knew y'all would know. This audience is so damn smart. Yeah, that's Noam Chomsky. That was a heartbreaker for a lot of people on the left because they're like, ooh. There are a lot of people that are absolutely going to have to explain why they have pictures with Epstein. More pictures came out of course, with Bannon. The ones of Bannon are really damning because they are all over the place. This is of course is in Epstein's home. There are pictures of Bannon all over the damn place. But this is where I actually got a little bit excited watching these pictures coming out. Because I love the political strategy. I do. And my strategies are sometimes counterintuitive to what the establishment says they want to do. And let me point out what I'm talking about here. Let me give you some background information so you know where I'm going with this. This is one of the pictures that you can see in that dump. Again, the link is in the description. You can go to the Dropbox. Read Robert Garcia's letter, though. There's a link, a direct link, or first paragraph of Robert Garcia's letter, and there's a link there. But yeah, that is David Blaine on the left. Of course, Epstein, then more pictures of Woody Allen. That's Ehud Barak, the Prime Minister of Israel. Now, this is what's so damning about this. This is after his conviction down in Florida, folks. This is after his conviction down in Florida. But what actually got me buzzing again as a political strategist is you see the guy in the tan suit? You see the guy in the tan suit? I'll bet you dollars to donuts nobody knows who that guy is. I will bet you none of y'all know who that guy is. You've got to really be inside the political donor world to know who that guy is. But I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to give you a second. That's Thomas Pritzker, the billionaire Thomas Pritzker. And who's Thomas Pritzker? You may not know Thomas Pritzker, but you know JB. You know JB. Same family. They're cousins. Thomas Pritzker and JB Pritzker are cousins. Both made their money out of the Hyatt hotel. They're both billionaires due to their hotel business. This is the kind of thing that actually just got me excited. And this is why. That is not a picture of J.B. Pritzker with Epstein. It's not. It's Thomas Pritzker. But this is where the political strategy comes in. See, conventional strategy will be just to do this. Say nothing and hope nobody notices. That's what right now every Democratic strategist is phoning into Pritzker and saying, I have a strategy to sell you, and it involves just shutting the fuck up and don't say anything. Hope nobody catches that one picture. You know what the problem with that is? The Republicans aren't going to let that happen. The Republicans are going to see that picture. And although they love to take Thomas Pritzker's money, because Thomas Pritzker, he donates all over the place. Yeah, his cousin may be a Democratic governor, but he absolutely donates everywhere. Republicans are not going to let this go. They're not going to take a look at that picture and say, oh, well, we'll just give Thomas Pritzker a pass because we like to take some money from him. Hell no. They're going to try to cut into JB, who's not in that picture, by the way. And this is why I get excited as a political strategist, because it's like, no, don't sit there and be quiet. Don't hope it goes by unnoticed. You know the Republicans are going to key in on this. Run at it. J.B. Pritzker needs to hold a press conference. Everybody in these pictures needs to hold press conferences. And they need to say, hey, look, this is a picture of my cousin. J.B. Pritzker says, hey, this needs to be a picture of my cousin. I wasn't involved with his business deals. I've been in politics. I'm not involved in the company. I don't know. I think it was poor judgment for him to be at that meeting. I wouldn't have done it. That's why I'm not in the pictures. David Blaine, the comedian, needs to explain why the hell was he allowing himself to be hired and hang out and perform for Epstein and these people. Everyone, don't sit on your ass. Don't sit on your heels and wait for this narrative to be written about you. You must charge straight at it. Straight at it. And I will tell you, that's why going through these pictures, I have enjoyed so much the politics of it, because, again, this is the combat. This is the stuff that I love. I'm at a loss when the Republicans are just running into a brick wall over and over and over and over again. And okay, I can sit here and say, oh, look at the stupid shit they did. But that's not the fun part. The fun part is the fighting. You know what I mean? And this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for somebody like J.B. Pritzker to grab a hold of that photo and hold it up and say, I'm not in this picture. This guy right here, that's my cousin. Stupid idea for him to be there. I'm not part of the company. I've been running the state of Illinois. I am not associated. Sure, it's my family. It's my family's company. That was a stupid meeting. It is what it is. And there it is. That's it. What are the Republicans going to do with it at that point? Anything else they try to do is a stretch. It's a grab. It's desperation. I got to tell you, as somebody that just loves the politics, that is, that just loves the minutia of the politics and the building of the narratives and the getting. I'm watching this and I can't wait for the next dump. I can't wait. Andrew Board, 6629. I hope JB rises to the moment. He is leaning into the minimum wage. As he said, Democrats invented the minimum wage. Yeah, he's doing great work. He's doing great work. But you know what? Great work isn't enough because voters don't vote to say thank you. Voters vote to say fuck you. And he needs to control this narrative. Oregon wine lady, in this case, silence isn't golden. It is not. And that is exactly what every political strategist right now, I promise you, I know these people. They're going to tell you, oh no, don't get stuck to that. Just hope it goes by, because who knows? And this is what they'll say. You may not even have to respond to this. What? You think they're going to let that go? There you go, D Canyon. There you go. Narratives are everything. Narratives are everything. Say it loud. Say it as loud as you possibly can. This is the one that everybody is having a lot of schadenfreude over, though. This picture right here. This is even a picture with Epstein. This is a picture at an Epstein event. David Brooks, New York Times columnist David Brooks, has been one of those voices out there that has been screaming the Epstein files are much ado about nothing. The Trump administration needs to not release the Epstein files. Don't get involved in this. This is dumb. The Epstein files prove nothing. And guess who was in the dump of pictures from the Epstein estate? None other than David Brooks. Now that's the schadenfreude right there. That is the schadenfreude. David Brooks years ago was just a guy that was on the opposite end of the political spectrum from me. He was just somebody I disagreed with. And over the last decade, he has just become more and more and more of just a right-wing shill. Their go-to, some guy that used to have some credibility that they keep. Yeah, exactly. Like Alan Dershowitz, somebody that used to have some credibility, but is in way over their head. And they've turned into nothing but shills and sycophants. And David Brooks has been railing over and over and over again about how you and I are just stupid people making way too much over this, and none of this should be released. And here it is. There's David Brooks, front and center at an Epstein event. And by the way, that guy in the background right there that was slightly blurred out, that's Sergey Brin. That's Sergey Brin. If you know Sergey Brin, he's the founder of Google. Google is the parent company, the same company that owns YouTube that you're watching this on right now. So I'm going to give Sergey Brin some free advice. You will not be able to avoid this. If your hands are clean, you need to step up and you need to explain what these photos are, why you were there, what the event was. Because I've got to tell you, folks, here's the problem. If you go to an event with Epstein after he's been convicted of, sex trafficking, you deserve it. You deserve all the negative shit that comes at you. You can't unring that bell. That's fucking gross. It is. If there are extenuating circumstances, though, you may be able to mitigate your culpability. And I'll give you an example that I like to use. People were very, very quick to throw Bill Clinton under the bus because even his own wife classifies Bill Clinton as a dog that is hard to keep on the porch. Those are Hillary Clinton's words regarding Bill Clinton. And they're like, oh, for sure. I mean, nasty old Bill for sure has to be caught up on Epstein Island and all that other gross shit. Well, even to date, nope, Bill never went to the island. And there's no pictures of Bill Clinton partying with young girls and Epstein. There are pictures of him on Epstein's plane. It's kind of like Noam Chomsky there. These pictures show association, not context. And there are a lot of people. Epstein was good at schmoozing people. He was good at, that plane of his made him so much money because he just loaned it out to everybody. And not everybody that flew on that damn plane had anything to do with, it's not like these pictures that we're seeing of Bill Gates where there's way too many young girls around. Those are like, yeah. But there's a lot of people like, there's an event. Epstein is one of the people that's throwing the event. But Sergey Brin is going to be there, and Sergey Brin tells you, hey, you come. So how many people showed up at this event because they were there because they wanted to be in proximity to Sergey Brin? You see what I'm saying there? Every one of these people in these photos, you got two choices. You can follow the bad advice, and you can sit there quietly, and you'll just be convicted of being a pedophile in the court of public opinion. Every person that comes out in these pictures, every person that comes out in these Epstein files will be convicted in the court of public opinion of being a pedophile. The alternative is follow my free advice. Charge at everything. If you did nothing wrong, you need to come out and say it. If Bill Clinton did nothing wrong, he needs to come out and say it. He needs to say, look, Epstein loaned the plane to the Clinton Foundation. It was a good charity. We were doing charity work. It was a free plane ride. I took it. And let the chips fall where they may. You say, I never went to his island. I never partied with the guy. If that's the truth, you need to come out and say it. 100%, you need to come out and say it, because this is not going to go away. Any person that comes out in these files, and they're coming, folks. They're coming, folks. Todd Blanche has come out and said, we're going to dump hundreds of thousands of pages of information today. But be careful, the way they're framing it, they're not going to reach the judges. They're not going to meet the judge's orders. They aren't. They're not going to have it all released. We're going to have to keep digging at it and digging at it and digging at it and digging at it to get all of it. But I'm telling you, folks, I would normally be the kind of person that would say, caution you and say, be careful. Just because a picture comes out or something, you don't know what it's all about, because these things happen. I'll give you an example. I went to the Kennedy King dinner with several union friends that I have. If someone showed up at that dinner or was invited or involved with that dinner that was a complete shitbag, I have no idea. I have no idea. But there would be pictures of my happy ass running around, shaking, hugging people. I'm a hugger. And it would be on me to come out and say, hey, this is the dinner. This is when it happened. This is where it happened. This is why I was there. This is who I came with. I'm good. You have to handle these Epstein files the exact same way. Don't give anybody a presumption of innocence. If this information comes out and they just shut up and don't say a word, just presume the worst. Just presume the worst. Ollie, thank you for always being here, brother. I appreciate you for supporting the show. Kira loves Michael. Thank you for being here. You're here all the time too. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Michael, you and Kira have a great holiday. Y'all have a great holiday. I'm glad you're always here. And I appreciate y'all taking care of these trolls. But look, folks, we have to remember why we're doing this. You know, all of this stuff, the Epstein stuff and the gotcha stuff and the political fighting and stuff, it's all good. It is. I mean, it's all good. But we need to remember why we're doing this, because there's so much more on the line. There are good people that are really getting hurt at the grocery store. There are good people that are really getting hurt by their utility bills. There are good people that are really suffering. There is danger throughout the world. There are things going on throughout the world every day, and we cannot have these imbeciles in charge ever again. Ever again. I have not watched the new Fallout episode. I haven't. I'll be honest with you, I haven't. Richard Swain, 7044. Hey, could y'all do me a favor? If there are any wastelanders out there, I can't get Mrs. Texas Paul through the first episode of the first season. I've tried 4 times to watch this with her. She hates it because it is so gory. Will y'all please explain to her? I keep promising her it's not that all the time. It's really great. Another wastelander in the house. Yeah, that's what I do when I have to unplug from the world and de-stress. That's what I do. I'm a wastelander. I go into Fallout 76 and just shut out the world. And it works, folks. I'm telling you, as a Gen Xer, I'm telling you, losing yourself and just checking out from reality is a good thing. It's a good thing. But things are happening, folks. And I mean, they are really happening. Remember, we talked about the EU and how Trump's being busted and making side deals. I just got a note says you're watching Survivor or 90 Day Fiance with me first. I hate that trash TV. I hate that. And don't come at me. If y'all love that stuff, great on you. Great on you. But my wife loves that 90 Day Fiance trash TV. And oh my God, I can't. I'm like, I deal with so much stupid shit on the daily. I can't go invite other people's stupid shit into my house, man. She loves it, man. She does. Oh my God. Brad Michael, check out Parker Get a Job or Dean Withers, great young guys. There are a lot of really good up and coming young talkers. And I'm telling you, it is fantastic. It is fantastic. You know, there's a reason we are the audience that we are. There's a reason so many of you are accomplished people that have the experience that you do and the ability that you do. There's a reason there aren't a lot of kids in here. And that's it right there. I am not the big draw for the kiddies. I'm not. For the young folks, having these people out there that are younger, that are actually talking about parallel things to what I'm talking about is fucking priceless, man. It is priceless. And I'm so proud of these people. That's why I love to call them out. I love to call them out. You know, I love to shout out to them. I really do, because these people are the future, man. They're proof that we're going to be okay. But what I was saying a minute ago is, you know, we talked about how Trump got busted making side deals with Russia. And that was a wake-up call for the oligarchs in Europe. They realized they were going to get iced out of this. 100%, they were going to be screwed. And they woke the hell up. And they got off their Neville Chamberlain asses and started acting. Michelle Hott, thank you for being here. Michelle Hott 1056. Thank you. That's big support. I'm super grateful. I am super grateful. Carl Rossi, the lighting goes with your decorations, a party. I promise you I'll have this fixed. I'm going to go nuts after this show. I'm going to just tear through this till I get the set on manual and perfect. But no, this happened. This happened. Europe, which had been him and hawing about taking on more debt to help fund Ukraine, just coughed up $90 billion. And I tell you, it means everything, because we went from Zelensky participating in peace talks that involved giving up territory to Zelensky going back on offense, both militarily and politically going back on offense. And I got to tell you, it is heartening. I was heartbroken. I don't know if you remember that episode where we were talking about that. I had been reading everything I could, contacting everybody I could about getting their opinion. You know, that I have friends that are former ambassadors, and I just calling people to say, hey, what's your take on this? And everything I was getting back is Zelensky's boxed in a canyon. The debt's massing up. People are getting tired of the war. We're abandoning them, basically. Europe is not showing the resolve that Ukraine had hoped. It was not looking good. It was looking like he was going to be forced into making a deal, a land for peace deal, which again would mean no peace. That is not a peace. That is not something that would last. I mean, I want you to think about that. If somebody just came in and took your shit, if you were one day, you're an American, you know, that is not how peace happens. You're an American living in California, and suddenly Mexico comes in and takes a big chunk of it, and they give your shit away to fellow Mexicans. You're not okay with that. And there are people that will engage in insurgencies. There are people that is not peace. That is not a road to peace. Land for peace is not a road to peace. It is a roadmap to long-term terrorism and insurgency, and it just wasn't going to happen. But it was looking bad for a while, and then finally Europe got off their butt, coughed up 90 billion of their own cash, not Russian money. That was Europe's money to keep Ukraine in this. And I'm telling you, I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that people have figured out that Trump and Putin are freaking snakes, and you cannot trust them. Grumpy Moose, thank you for being here. Appreciate you, brother. One second. Chris, R797, solution, 2 TVs in the living room, low volume, closed captions on both. I will not be taking comments on this plan. Oh, my God. But I want to watch it together. Monica Meadows, I look forward to my Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday show. This family keeps me sane. Good community we've got here. Good community. Rich Lawton, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for always being here. But it's not just Ukraine, folks. It's not. Y'all remember this happened in Syria just the other day. We lost 2 soldiers and several others injured in a strike from ISIS. Well, now we know. Now we know what the objective was. Now we know what the objective was. Now we know what they were trying to disrupt. They were trying to stop this from happening. It's a hell of a balancing act with these Republicans. Being the anti-Islamic people, got to keep the Christian nationalists happy. But yet they also want to be the people to make side deals, get in on the ground floor, make money. And that's exactly what's going to happen in Syria, folks. These sanctions coming off were absolutely crucial. That's why I told you Ahmed al-Shara was pissed. He was pissed about this because these negotiations have been going on since they've taken power. There have been a lot of promises made. And one of the promises that Ahmed al-Shara made was that no, whether it be my old guys in Al Qaeda or whether it's ISIS, none of this. We're not going to have this in Syria. We are going to, just like they say, the business of America is business. Ahmed al-Shara is saying the business of Syria is business. We're going back to tourism. We're going back to being the central hub of the Middle East. We are going to be the center of the Levant. We're not going to have this radicalism anymore. We're not going to have the insane preachings in the madrasas, and we're not going to do any of that anymore. All the promises were made so that these sanctions would be lifted and they could get back to business and living their lives and building a country. And Ahmed al-Shara, I've got to tell you, it may come back to bite me in the ass, but I have been incredibly just watching the way he put his coalition together, watching the way, I have a lot of faith that this guy is going to do great things in Syria. I really do. And when I say great things, I mean move away from the radical dominance that you see out of certain factions in the Islamic community. I believe that Syria is going to be a very open country, much like Iran used to be before the revolution. That may prove to be naivety on my part, but I'm telling you, this is the way, walks like a duck, talks like a duck. This is what Ahmed al-Shara has been doing. And this attack on U.S. troops in Syria was to give power, no other way to put it, but power to those right-wing Christian nationalist Republicans that have been opposing the lifting of these sanctions. The Islamophobes, the ones that run out every day and talk about, oh, we need to stop immigration. We're a Christian nation. We don't need any of them Muslims in this country. We need to, the Stephen Millers, all those guys. That's what that attack was for. And it didn't work. It didn't work. The repealing of the sanctions deal went through anyway. Kenya Gomez, thank you for being here. My 15-year-old comes running down the stairs when she hears you on TV. She's not on the chat, but she sticks around for the whole thing. Love you, Camilla. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And give your daughter a hug for me. I'm glad to see the young people involved, because they are our future. They really are. Adam Mockler's another good one. But yeah, folks, there are things going on throughout the world that we just can't have this stupidity. Opportunities that are slipping away. Folks, and you know me, I'm not anti-Israel. I'm not anti-Israel because I don't want people to be anti-America because of Trump. There are people in this country that are not Trump. They're just not. And I 100% don't want people doing that to me and us here in America. So I don't want people judging Israel by Netanyahu and the radical right. I'm also very pro-Palestinian. It's who I am. I want them. These people deserve their own nation and self-determination. They do. But folks, we can't have that if we keep, what these folks did. I begged them not to do this. I begged them not to do this in the last election. And they did it anyways. And now Gaza's a smoldering hole in the ground. We went from floating docks and Democrats having to fight Republicans just to bring food into Gaza to Gaza's a smoldering hole in the ground. And it wasn't like we couldn't see this coming. But let me give you hope that there's a future. There is a way forward. There is. There is a way forward. I very much believe that, what's the best way to put this? What's the best way to put this? Look, and I don't want to offend anybody with this, so just stick with me. I absolutely supported Zoran Mamdani. I did. He was the Democrat on the ticket. His policies are good. I could have done what a lot of dumbass Democrats did and been butthurt about what they did in the previous election. Because I got to tell you, Zoran Mamdani was an idiot in the last. He was part of that whole leave it blank thing. He supported that stay home, hurt the Democrats movement. I could have been bitter about that. I could have. But if there's going to be a future, I can't sit and just hate on these Gaza bots. I can't just be mad. Look what you did. Look what you did. You brought us to, look what you, I can't do that. So I jumped on the Mamdani train. I said, look, it's about the policies. It's about moving forward. And I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use Mamdani as the perfect example, because I want to ask you something. Did Zoran Mamdani make a difference in the last election, the previous election? No. All he did was hurt the people in Gaza. But now that he's in the House, now that he's a Democrat, and he's working from in the House, now he can affect change. Where did he have more power? Out there on the street being stupid? Or as mayor of New York? In the House. Of course, he has more power in the House. And this is why I say, people are like, if you won't say exactly what I want you to say, you're a genocider. The fuck I am. I've been supporting the Palestinians for decades. Where the fuck were you? You and your mail order kafia because you just found out about Gaza 4 years ago, 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. You know, the Palestinians have been fighting for autonomy for decades and decades. This isn't new. Welcome to the party. So don't tell me what the fuck to say and who I have to condemn, because you're not going to get it. I'm going to tell it the way it is. No, I'm not going to condemn Israel to destruction. It's fucking stupid. That's like somebody condemning the United States of America to destruction because of fucking Trump, because your idiot drunk uncle voted for Trump. And idiots here told people to stay home. So we should destroy the US? No. No, you fucking fix it. And that's the way forward. That's my message for the way forward. And that's what I'm going to tell you. If I see any of you Gaza bots out there talking shit about staying home or hurting the Democratic Party, you're gone. You're gone. You cannot threaten me with that genocider label. You can't. My positions are well documented. What I support and who I support. Your failures, well, All you have to do is go look and see what happened to Gaza, where we went from the Biden administration to where we are now. There's a road forward. It's through the Democratic Party. And I'm glad to see there are people like Zoran Mamdani in the House. I'm glad to see that we're electing more people. That's how you affect change. That's how you affect change. You can stand on the sidewalk and you could scream all day long, but it's pretty much meaningless. If you want to affect change, that's why I don't understand independence. I don't understand independence. I don't get them. What is an independent? To me, an independent is just somebody that's too lazy to do the work to fix the party that most aligns with their values. I don't get it. That's why I wear the patch. I'm a Democrat, because 90% of what they believe in is what I believe in. And the other 10% and the stuff that I want to change, I will work to make happen. But I'll do it from inside the house where you can hear my voice. I love you, folks. That's what I've got for you today. I do appreciate you putting up with this crazy lighting situation. It'll be fixed by Sunday. Come back, check it out Sunday. You're going to love it. Everything will be stabilized. Everything will be completely fixed. I knew I should have waited another day before I went live with this camera, but I love it. I love the way it looks. It's nice and close, and get to see everything, the bokeh in the background. You folks, when you support the show, this is the kind of shit you pay for. I appreciate you. On that note, enjoy some Texas cities at night.